Okay, look, I get it. There's a lot of new subscribers. I have like well over 200 videos, so there's bound to be some misunderstandings, confusions, or just people that haven't watched certain videos where I explain certain things I say, concepts, or ideas. So I feel like I need to make this video to clear the air because I'm getting a frightening amount of comments talking in my videos, mostly in my Metal Gear Solid 4 video, being like, oh, getting rid of guns means getting rid of content. Oh, you just want to strip games down so they don't have more than a handful of guns, which is kind of true, but not necessarily. Or, oh, you made this Halo video talking about how to fix the sandbox? Well, you're just talking about getting rid of content. And, no, I'm not. Every time I make one of these videos, I'm talking about getting rid of guns, cleaning up a sandbox, or adding them in a way that isn't ass for balancing. So I'm Pliskin, and today I want to clear the air and talk about why guns do not equal content. The first thing I really want to clear up is this idea that I just want to strip games down to like their bare essentials, which in some cases, yes, I do want to do that. But I'm not opposed to the idea of games having a ton of sandbox elements in there, specifically talking about weapons. There's a lot of games that do this really well. Resident Evil 8 has a ton of guns. They're all balanced great. Red Dead Redemption 2 has a lot of guns, and it's almost a perfect level up system, aside from one or two guns that I've talked about before. These are games that have a shit ton of weapons, and I am fine with it because there's a level up system in place. I start with a shit gun, I get a better gun, then I go to the mid tier, and then I get to the top. And you have that rinse and repeated for multiple different categories. I'm all for that. That is fun as hell to go through. What I don't like is when a game has a shit ton of guns, but only 5 of them are worth using. Most of these comments I see on the Metal Gear Solid 4 video. And here's the thing. Again, I'm fine with Metal Gear Solid 4 having 50 plus weapons, but I just want them to be balanced better. If the M4 is going to be the best assault rifle, we should unlock it towards the end. Let me try out that XM8 at the beginning as a starter rifle. Then let me go on to the AN94 as a mid-tier gun. Let me have some sense of progression. That way, if I want to go back and still fuck around with these guns, there's always going to be a time and place, as I could still use them and have them be viable in the early game. Have the enemies scale up with me as I get better weapons, or have them stay the same and have me just become overpowered, and then if I want more of a challenge, use one of those lower tier weapons. My issue with Metal Gear Solid 4 is that all these guns are in there, yet it gives you the best guns right at the start and doesn't give you any incentives to use all these cool weapons. I like cool and exotic weapons. Again, I love playing this game with the AN94. What I don't like is that the game is balanced like ass, and I feel like I am punishing myself when I'm using the AN94. So yeah, this whole idea, and a lot of people have commented on this and I've cleared it up with them, but I don't know, if you happen to be one of those people that's just coming to the channel and you're getting the interpretation that I don't like games that have a lot of guns, that's wrong. You could totally put a lot of guns in a game. I just want good balancing. If you're confused as to what a level up system is, I kind of already described it, but I have tons of videos, and I mean tons of videos, where I go into the details. I'll link one of them down below. But for the bulk of this video, I want to talk about a comment I got on my recent Halo sandbox reworking video, where some guy said, okay, yeah, take out all these guns on a game that's already being memed on for not having content. And here, let me explain to you why axing out a ton of these guns would actually result in more content. Game development is an arduous process, and every second and dime spent on a given resource is time and money that doesn't go into another resource being developed. So if I want to make the sniper rifle, then the stalker rifle, then the shock rifle, I am spending a lot of time working on a bunch of guns that are relatively the same thing, redundant, superfluous, whatever you want to call them, all while I could have spent that time creating a winter biome, or a desert biome, or rounding out some enemy AI, or adding in more areas where vehicles are viable, or making more multiplayer maps, or making sure split screen fucking works on release. By working on things like, oh, we need to put in all these guns, otherwise people are not going to want to play the game, is a horrible mindset that's forced onto these developers because people don't think. These guns aren't content. Look at all the games out there that have a limited selection of guns. Halo 1. No one plays that game and is like, oh wow, this sucks because there aren't a lot of guns. No, they play it and they go, oh wow, I hate the fact that there's so many copy-paste levels and certain enemy placements are fucked up. Content is the places you explore. It's the things you do. It's the things you fight. It's the things you customize.
Because I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone.
Metal Gear Solid 5 has a shit ton of guns in the game, but again, even though there's kind of a level up system in there, there's so many of them that don't have a purpose. I would totally be fine if more than half of these weapons were cut out of the game and more time was focused on putting in harder enemies, another map, all that kind of stuff. Although with Metal Gear Solid 5, the issue wasn't necessarily not having enough budget or time, it was having this asshole spend all the resources on PT so he could advertise himself to Sony so he could bail on the production of Metal Gear Solid 5 and then go work on Death Stranding. You axed out David Hayter in Metal Gear Solid 5, and that's when everyone started giving you shit, but you've been trying to do that ever since Metal Gear Solid 3. And the whole fuck Konami thing, well, yeah, I'm totally for being against all these shitty companies that are doing messed up things, although Konami seems to be working on the track to improve that, despite having an incredibly toxic fan base, which we will talk about in another video. But yeah, let's not ever forget the fact that Metal Gear Solid 5 was sabotaged first and foremost by Kojima. But again, back on topic, games like Ground Zeroes make so much with the limited content that it has in there, and the sandbox elements are really small. There's not a lot of guns in that game. However, the amount of mission variety and collectibles and bonus stuff to unlock in there, that's the real content. I've talked many times before about how Ground Zeroes is amazing because of how much it offers with so little. Less is more. The less time you spend focusing on things that don't really matter, things that are redundant, the more time you can spend creating interesting experiences. And at the end of the day, that's what these games are. Interesting experiences. So, yeah, do I want some games to axe out a ton of guns? Yeah. Do I have an issue with a lot of guns being in games? No. Do I think that axing out guns means axing out content? Absolutely fucking not. And neither should you. Content is levels, it's enemies, it's set pieces, it's gameplay loops. Yeah, guns can be content, but once you start getting repeats, it stops being content and just becomes something else to distract you. And I know there's guys out there that really like games like Warzone or Titanfall 2 because, oh yeah, I like learning about the meta, and they start feeling very proud of being like, oh yeah, I know which guns are actually viable, but that's not really a gameplay. It's not really a gameplay mechanic where you just have a bunch of shit there and you have to shovel it all apart and figure out what's actually viable. But yeah, guns does not equal content. Actual in-game content is content. And if there's something there draining developer time and limiting what can actually be put in the game because people are just, they think they know what they want when they really don't, is something that's really terrible in the gaming industry right now. and is part of the reason why you see a lot of games that were better balanced back when this whole kind of internet culture of yelling at the developers all throughout production wasn't a thing. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm clearing the air. I get a lot of these comments. Hopefully people watch this video and they can understand better what I'm talking about. Again, I'm linking down videos where I talk about single purpose and level up systems down below. This has been Pliskin Boy. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I didn't piss anybody off. I'm trying to hide the frustration in my voice. I honestly love comments, I love feedback, and I love being able to clear this kind of stuff up, but when I see the same thing being said over and over and over, yeah, I just want to clear. Yeah, I'm rambling, all right? You know what? This has been Pliskin. Later, bye.
This is Solid Snake. Hey, subscribe to Pliskin Boy. God damn it.
You heard him.